What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ty from Ty Drives, and sitting in front of us is the all-new 2025 Audi Q5. And we're going to be taking a look at all the features this all-new vehicle has to offer. So the Q5 is one of the most popular, if not the most popular, vehicle in Audi's lineup, and it's all new for 2025. So we're going to be checking out all the features on the exterior, under the hood, in the trunk, and also in the rear seats and up front with all the new technology. And we're going to start things off on the front here with the outside, where we could see totally new front end, new wheel choices, whole new design language of this vehicle. Now, if you're interested to see how this Q5 drives, I am too. I have not driven this car yet, except for just around the parking lot, and we're going to drive it in a completely separate video, so make sure you check that out. I'll provide a link to you at the end of this video for the test drive. But let's take a look up front. We still have that big, nice Audi single frame grille, but instead of being kind of like a muted chrome accent, we have kind of this gray painted effect. We also have the new kind of two-dimensional Audi logos with the camera below it. And this one is a premium plus trim, so not the most basic, not the top of the line, right in the center. We also have new headlights, kind of a more slim unit with a pretty big daytime running light going in the top there. So we have LEDs for the high and low beams, also the daytime running lights and the turn signals. And you also have this little segmentation here. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but that is actually a kind of a reconfigurable light, which is pretty darn cool. You also have headlight washers right below and parking sensors up front, with all the rest of your driving aid sensors down below, nicely hidden. Now, the color on this car is Tambora Gray. It's almost a replacement for the old Manhattan Gray, but it's got a really nice metallic flake to it. And we have the optional 20-inch wheels on this Premium Plus. The rubber is measured up at 255/45, but yeah, pretty nice looking, kind of bi-colored design with the machine finish on the face of the rim, and the painted gray accents goes really nice with the gray paint color itself. The mirrors are power folding. They also have turn signal indicators and your top-down cameras, or I should say two on each, or one on each mirror for the top-down cameras. And you also have your blind spot warning on the inside of the mirrors. We have smart key entry on all four doors, and we'll take a quick look at the window sticker here so that you can see. We have a total sticker price on this particular one at $61,105. The most notable features are, of course, the Premium Plus trim level. We have the warm weather package, which is nice, 20-inch wheels and a couple other small things. Pretty good fuel economy, just about on par with the last Q5. And as you can see right here is our parts content. We have a nice bit of chrome surrounding the windows, and on our roof rails we also have the panoramic roof and the shark fin antenna, and a little bit of glossy black down at the bottom of the doors. And we have a nice little spoiler back here and a pretty cool looking light bar. Take a look at the lights, all illuminated. We have LED turn signals, brake lights, and tail lights, and of course that LED light bar that goes all the way across the tailgate. We have a little bit of blacked out emblems back here, such as the Q5 emblem is no longer chrome, that is black. We have some kind of flat black accents back here in the middle below your reflectors, where your where your parking sensors are housed. We have a little bit of silver, and take a look at this. Seeing is believing. We have real exhaust tips on this new Q5. So everybody asked and we received, so that's pretty cool. We have the Audi rings just on top of the light bar, and just below the light bar we have the trunk release and the reversing camera. We also have that Quattro emblem, since Quattro all-wheel drive is standard. So all in all, what do you guys think? I want to ask you guys, the viewers, what do you think of the new Q5 styling? Let me know in the comments if you want to hear my personal opinion. I think this is more of a simplistic design, kind of evolutionary of the previous Q5. Again, let me know what you think in the comments. And before we go any further, I'd like to give a huge thanks to my very good friends at Valenti Audi in Watertown, Connecticut, for providing me one of their first Q5s for viewing. Under the hood of the Q5, we do get an updated power plant too. So we have a new version of Audi's 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 engine. It produces a bit more horsepower, 268 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. So we'll see if we could feel that on our test drive. And it's all hooked up to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, which, by the way, is a fantastic transmission. It's nice and smooth up at speeds, and it does keep the RPMs nice and low for highway cruising. Now, a little fun fact, I used to own a 2022 Audi Q5, and I was beyond impressed with the fuel economy, so hopefully we'll get the same with this one. I was getting about 32 miles to the gallon on some highway trips, so hopefully Audi kept the fuel economy in the real world the same. What do you say we take a listen to this 2-liter turbo from those real exhaust tips? Let's take a listen. Okay, so let's take a look at the cargo area in the Q5, which is equally as impressive as the last generation. So definitely a good amount of space, wide open space that is, for cargo area back here, and not too much of a kind of drop in the roof line, so you could fit some taller items back here too. Now, as far as amenities back here, there are plentiful amount. We have some lighting in each corner. We also have a 12-volt power outlet. We have a cargo net to this side. We also have a grocery bag hanger, little latches so that you can pull down the seats from back here, and also a little strap to put things in. We also have cargo tie downs in each corner of the trunk too, and a little area to access some electronics. And you can see this little panel here has a little arrow, and you can kind of pull that out in case you had a cargo shade and you want to store it underneath the floor. That's good thinking. And the seats will fold at a 40-20-40 split. Now, underneath the cargo floor, we actually have some storage. Take a look at that. So you have a nice carpeted area to put some things that you could hide, and it looks like some electronics maybe for the speaker system. But that's pretty much it for the trunk. Up here you have some more illumination, and you can either close the trunk or close and lock it. What do you say we take our first glance at the interior with the rear seats next? So in the back of the Q5, it's looking pretty good. This one has the warm weather package, so we have sunshades, and we can kind of detach them from the top and put them right back into the door. We also have some pretty nice materials, not the best out there, but pretty nice materials. We have this kind of rubberized plastic up top, hard touch down below, but where your armrest is nice and soft, we have some contrast stitching, and also some bright work too for your door handle, a little bit of accents. Now, this particular one, being the Premium Plus, has a 16-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. 10 speakers will come standard on the Premium trim. And down here we have another speaker on the door with a little bit of storage. The front seats look really nice from the back. You also have storage pockets, and the rear seats are pretty nice looking. They do look pretty similar to the rear seats on the previous generation Q5, but that is okay. We have nice use of materials, pretty soft leather with perforations in the center of the seat with some stitching too. We also have the ISOFIX for the child seats, and if you want to fold down the rear seats, you could just pull that latch there, and they'll actually latch into place and fold relatively flat, which is good. Right up next to the headrest in the center, we have a little button you could press, and that will fold down your kind of center portion, or I guess you could say ski hatch, and then you could fold down your cup holders with an armrest, which is pretty nice. That also latches into place. We have a nice big panoramic sunroof, and if we hop in quickly, I can show you how much space we have back here. Now, I'm 5'10", and as soon as you get out of the car, the seat kind of scoots back for an easy exit and entry. But for frame of reference, there'll be a little bit more space if you're about my size back here. We have two USB-C connections, air vents, and your own temperature control back here, which is pretty cool. And you can even see some of the ambient lighting back here too, which in most cars it's pretty difficult to see at daytime, but it looks pretty good and it looks pretty bright back here. The panoramic roof is nice and big too, as you can see in conjunction with the headrests. We have grab handles, coat hooks, and tap illumination back here too. What do you say we check out the front cabin next? Okay, so here we are finally at the main event, the front cabin of the vehicle. We're going to go over the driver's door first, since there is a bit to go over on this. Of course, we have a couple of those Bang & Olufsen speakers, a little bit of a blank switch here, which is a little bit strange, and it's the same on the other side, but that's okay. But we do have some nice metal accents, and all the door handles in the car are electronic release, so when I pull it, you can hear it release. And you can see quite the control panel down here that's also backlit, so if the car hasn't been recently running or running, this will kind of just be blacked out and you won't be able to see any controls, which is pretty cool. It's all kind of capacitive touch, so when you touch it, it gives you a little bit of a click. But as you can see, we have lock, unlock up top, all of your headlight controls, so once you tap, 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 you can see the different settings, and that'll all pop up on the dash over there. You can also turn on your all-weather lighting. You have all of your mirror controls for power folding and whatnot. And you also have your two-person memory seats for the driver's side and individual child locks for the rear, which is nice. You have your window controls, trunk release, and another big speaker at the bottom with some more storage. On the left of the dashboard, you can see your air vent. You can turn it on and off nice and easily. You also have this nice open pore wood. I really like that look, kind of a darker appearance to it. And down here we have a little storage cubby where you can put loose change, credit cards, things like that. And you can also see the little adjustment, little toggle for the tilt and telescoping steering wheel, which is all powered. We have a hood release and our pedals down here. And very, very nice looking seats with the warm weather package. We have some big shoulder pads, a fixed headrest, and nice perforations and contrast stitching with a leg extension. So we have a little release right here. We can go in and out. I like that feature a lot. And we have fully powered seats with your four-way lumbar. What do you say we hop in and check out the all-new interior? So here we are seated inside the new Q5, where you can see the layout. We have a totally new steering wheel and nice kind of double screen setup here, and very minimal physical controls. I could really only count on one hand with the amount of physical controls on the inside of the interior. So they're either capacitive touch or within the touchscreen, and we'll check them all out in a minute. As you can see, it's very simplistic when you get in the car and it's not started. All the backlit controls are off, and it gives it a very clean appearance. But here goes the key for the new Q5. So new Q5, new key. We have the unlock, lock, and trunk release on this side, a little Audi logo. And on the other side, we have the panic alarm, which is pretty nice. Our push button start is right down here. And that will kind of fire everything up and to life. Now what we could do is we could take a look at the steering wheel first, since there's quite a bit to cover on the steering wheel. Now right over here are all of your controls for the display right in front of you, plus your heads-up display. And over here we have more media focused controls in addition to your heated steering wheel. We have audio volume, skipping between different radio stations, voice commands, and Bluetooth phone controls, as well as a programmable button, so you can program what you want that button to do. Pretty cool. Behind the steering wheel, mounted to the steering wheel, are some paddle shifters to each side. And in back of the wheel itself, we have our turn signals, also to turn on and off our lane keep assist really fast, and our automatic high beams. And we also have this stalk down here to get rid of some clutter on the steering wheel. This is all of your adaptive cruise control functions. And of course the other side is your front and rear wipers. Now we have a nice looking gauge setup up here. I really couldn't position the car to a point where the sun gets off of the gauge cluster, so I apologize for the glare and things like that. But the functionality of the gauge cluster screen is a little bit a little bit confusing when you first get into it, I should say that. Obviously, I'm used to the older Audi models, and this is the first Audi I've had with this kind of touch control, so it did give me a little bit to get used to it, but now that I'm used to it, it's actually a pretty nice setup. So we have all of these buttons here, which you could use actually as physical buttons, or kind of a slide feature, which is pretty cool. And you also have the view button, which you could change gauge views. So you have 2 different gauge views. You can press that, kind of get a simplified one, or press that and get some more information. You also have this button up here to adjust what you see in the heads-up display, which I'm not sure if you can see at the current moment, but there is quite a bit of customability with the heads-up display. We have kind of like the lane keep assist, your current speed, and the speed on the road that you're on. You can also go to a kind of minimal display, music display, driver's assist, and navigation, so pretty cool. But back to our gauge cluster screen again, so we could kind of use these buttons here to adjust what we see. So we have kind of trip computers and different routes that you have saved, short and long-term memory, date and time, and that's pretty cool. And just below it you have your distance till empty and fuel gauge, and also your driving mode right down there. We'll adjust with your driving mode, so we're in balance right now. At the top we have our time and the temperature up there, and you can see that little forward collision warning button up there. It's just because it's initializing the systems. There's nothing really wrong with it. So on the other side we can adjust as well, so we can just press just the opposite button and we can see what's playing with our music, what's going on with our phone, navigation, and back to music, which is pretty cool. And you can adjust the music stations like so. Pretty cool. So we have some other things too, like down here we have the RPMs, so your tachometer, also the lane keeping assist, what gear you're in, and a digital speedometer right at the bottom of your lane keep assist visual, and also go up the top. Now varying driving modes such as dynamic will kind of change it up a little bit, so that you can see the tachometer a little bit larger, and also it'll bring up your coolant temperature at the bottom, so that's pretty cool. And there's a bunch of different driving modes you can go through too, and we'll go through them in just a minute. But yeah, up top we have a nice kind of rubberized dashboard, and this whole kind of strip all the way across is ambient lighting. And a cool thing that I noticed is when you put your turn signal on, it'll display right up here in the corner of the ambient lighting. That's pretty cool. Down here we have a fully new touchscreen, and you kind of have this like skateboard appearance to the touchscreen, which is pretty cool. But again, same thing, new layout, new kind of software and things like that for the screen. So it took me a little while to get used to it. There's a lot of stuff going on, but once you get used to it, it's like anything, you'll get used to it pretty quickly. So general gist of the screen, what we're looking at here is the kind of home screen. So you have like your toll modules, your radio, your navigation, and things like that. And it's all customizable too, so you could bring different icons in and leave different icons out. You can also scroll to the other side, so you can see another home screen a little bit different with your phone, your drive select, and a clock. And you can also adjust different appearances of the clock. Pretty cool. And over here is kind of like your main control, so you can press home to get back to home. You can also press this button to get a jumblation of all your different apps. We have the navigation here, which is a nice big display. Looks very nice, and you can also enter in a destination right here. We can go on over to this tab here, which is your radio screen, and you can kind of choose different radio stations. Press on this for your nice kind of album art and stuff like that, and see what's playing. And then you can also adjust your different sources, AM, FM, Sirius XM, all that good stuff. Then you also have the settings for your sound and things like that, so that's pretty cool. Very customizable sound system with the 3D effect, surround sound, all kinds of good stuff in here. We also have your phone screen, which just has the wireless CarPlay, Android Auto. We also have a vehicle screen here too, which you can display the brightness, the interior and exterior lighting. So the interior lighting will allow you to customize the colors. There's lots of ambient lighting inside. We have a strip here, there's some in the cup holders, some on the doors, all the way across the dash like you saw before. And you can also link it up to the drive select and have 2 separate colors at the same time. Now we have a bunch of settings that you can go through right over here, and also different apps that you can download to the vehicle. Pretty cool. Now let's go over here to the jumbulation of all of your different apps that you can see. Navigation, radio, Sirius, phone, Android Auto, CarPlay, all that good stuff. Settings, you also have a driver's assistance screen in here too, which you could turn on and off different things. You also have favorites for your driver's assist, so if there's something that you like to turn on and off fairly regularly, you can put it right there. You can adjust all of the different warnings you have, your lane keeping assist, speed warnings, any of the braking assists, and there's also some efficiency things too. Pretty cool. Going back to that jumbulation screen, we also have accessibility, legal notes, a search menu, all that good stuff. So lots of stuff in here. Now, one thing that's also included in your touchscreen is, unfortunately, climate controls. So all of your climate controls are in the touchscreen, which is a little bit of a letdown, but most of the controls, I say most because there's some things that are missing, most of the controls are right here and easily accessible, like your temperatures, the AC settings, and your defrosters are all kind of right there, easy accessible. Same with your heated and cooled seats right down here. So heated and cooled up front. Once you go up to the Prestige trim level, you'll get heated rear seats, but this one we just have heated and cooled front. We also have a couple of different things right down there. You can sign into different profiles and stuff like that. But for the climate control, the rest of your climate stuff is in this climate menu screen. So you can adjust where the air comes out, your fan speed right here. You can also toggle on and off your heated steering wheel, and kind of press on this to activate the passenger side climate too, since it's kind of an efficiency mode if it doesn't detect somebody in the passenger seat. So pretty cool. You can also adjust, kind of go to a comfort assist. So you can go to like heat your hands, heat your feet, cool your feet, stuff like that. And you can also set up your rear climate control. So pretty cool. That pretty much does it with the touchscreen. There is quite a bit of information in here, and it does take a little bit to get used to. But once you're used to it, it's a pretty good MMI screen. So just one thing I wish is the climate controls would kind of be down here, maybe somewhere in a physical format, like the old Q5 had. Down here you have kind of some essential controls, such as your stop-start button, your volume knob, and it also doubles as a skip between different radio stations. We also have our drive select here, so a couple of different driving modes. We have balanced, which is kind of like your everyday mode. We also have dynamic, which is your sporty mode. Comfort, obviously that's self-explanatory, and then we have off-road plus, which is pretty cool. And then if you go into the balanced one, you can actually customize the things in here that you'd like. Pretty cool. We have our auto start stop button, which you can turn on and off, which is quick access, which is very nice. We also have our hazards and traction control off. Down here is kind of your phone area, so you have wireless charging and little vents at the bottom of the wireless charging too. That'll keep your phone relatively cool. We also have 2 USB-Cs and a 12-volt power outlet back here. Lots of glossy black in this car, which, as you guys might know if you watch my videos, I do not like glossy black. I literally just cleaned this center console, and there's already dust and fingerprints all over here. But it looks good when it's clean, but it does not when it's not clean. So that's the downside to glossy black. Over here we have a couple of buttons that are quick access. You could press on that and that'll pull up all of your driver's assist features. And then we can also press this button to activate your parking sensors and pull up your parking camera at any time. We have a couple of cup holders and this nice little kind of dial thing right here for your gear selector. So we have a button right up here to activate your parking brake and put the transmission in park all at once. We also have this little knob down here to put it down into drive. So we're now into drive. If we bump it down once more, that'll put it into a sport mode, and then once more we'll put it back into drive, and all the way forward is for reverse. Now we have a nice camera setup with 360 camera, which is pretty cool. Now what we're looking at here is the reversing camera, and what's pretty cool is when you turn the steering wheel, the camera actually tilts in the direction you are turning. That's pretty cool. And then we can also select where you want the camera to go. So we can go to the front wheels. We can also go to the front camera itself. And we can also go to the rear wheels, and obviously to the rear camera. You have a nice top down here. A couple of adjustments for the self-parking, automatic rear braking and things like that that pop up with the screen too. And again, to put it in park, just press the P button right here. Again, we have a nice amount of ambient lighting going all around this section here, where we kind of have this little bit of a kind of a wall for the passenger. And the center console is nice and soft. It is also height adjustable too, and there's a pretty good amount of space in here. I'd say a little bit more space than the previous generation Q5, and a little bit of illumination. Over here in the Prestige trim level, this panel will actually become a passenger touchscreen. But in this one, where you don't have that touchscreen, you kind of just have this blank, glossy black panel, which is definitely an interesting design. I feel like they could have done something a little bit nicer for the cars that don't have that passenger display, but that is what they chose to do. You still have some nice wood over here and a lockable glove box. It's actually pretty darn huge. Again, a little bit bigger than the previous Q5, so a little bit more storage in this car. And we have a lighter headliner, so a kind of dark gray headliner. And I'll tell you what, when I first got in this car, it took me a long time to figure out how to put the sunshade back, but it's actually these little touch capacitive buttons with like a closed sunroof and then the light. So there you go. We have tap illumination here, kind of a button to turn all the lights on, the rear lights, and then kind of some informational emergency buttons. And again, this button here will open up your sunroof shade, and then this button here is a physical button that'll allow you to put the sunroof back and or tilt it if you'd like. But nice big panoramic roof, definitely a huge actually panoramic roof. The sunscreen just keeps going back and back, and it lets in a lot of light in here. Lastly, we do have or I should say second to last, we have a nice frameless mirror with your garage, I should say compass, and our visors have card holders, mirrors, and lights. And that pretty much does it for all the features on the all-new 2025 Audi Q5. Thank you very much for watching, and by now the little link for the test drive video should be popping up. Make sure you check that out. And I thank each and every one of you for watching very much.